Best new artist is Milli Vanilli.
We give this Grammy back now to the Record Academy, and we recommend our buddies who did the real voices, who got seduced like us in Germany. Brad Howell and Sean Davis are the real singers, and I think they should get this Grammy.
Milli Vanilli stands as the only group in history to have a Grammy Award revoked, starring in the most infamous scandal in music history. This duo, once reaching the heights of fame with hit after hit, turned out to be the biggest sham in music. Unfamiliar with Milli Vanilli? Well, brace yourself, because this story has it all. Fame, fraud, and a spectacular fall from grace. They saw themselves as bigger than legends of their time. Imagine, they snubbed Paul McCartney and compared themselves to Bob Dylan. Rob Pilatus even dared to say, "I'm the Elvis of this era." But here's where it gets juicy. It was all a scam. The duo that reached the pinnacle of success with their charisma and catchy hits, only to plummet into disgrace upon the most shocking revelation of the industry. They weren't the voices behind their big hits. Their career, built on the lie of lip-syncing, crumbled, exposing one of the greatest frauds in music history. Revoked Grammy Awards, shattered careers, and lingering questions. Is talent in the voice or the performance? How did Fab and Rob, aka Milli Vanilli, become banished from radio airwaves and turn into the music business's most notorious joke? Milli Vanilli has become synonymous with the most infamous scandal in global pop music. The story is widely known. Two Europeans, Fab and Rob, burst onto the dance pop scene of the 1980s, propelled by the mega hit, Girl You Know It's True. They managed to place 3 singles at #1 in the United States and won the Grammy for Best New Artist. With their iconic hairstyles and tight pants, they seemed invincible, masters of the global stage. But a crucial question arises. How did they climb to the top of the music world? Rob Pilatus, from Munich, met Fabrice Morvan, from Paris, at a dance seminar in a Los Angeles club. They reconnected in Munich and bonded over their experiences growing up in European cities. In Munich, they attempted to find work as backup singers, then formed their own group and recorded an album for a small German label, selling a few thousand records. German music producer Frank Farian, who had previously created the disco group Boney M., invited Pilatus and Morvan to his Frankfurt studio to listen to a demo of Girl You Know It's True. They told him they could sing it. According to Pilatus, Farian told them he would make them millionaires. On January 1st, 1988, the duo signed a contract with Farian to record 10 songs a year. They signed without understanding the terms and conditions. As expected, the duo's singing in the recording studio failed to impress Farian. The result was so poor that the final mix of Girl You Know It's True was completed by studio artists, including Charles Shaw, John Davis, Brad Howell, and twin sisters Jody and Linda Rocco. By May, Pilatus and Morvan were touring Spain, France, and Italy, lip-syncing to pre-recorded tracks and thrilling crowds with their distinctive style, spandex shorts, thigh-high boots, and braided hair extensions. Following the release of Girl You Know It's True in Germany in the summer of 1988, success was immediate. Frank Farian, the brain behind the project, produced and wrote most of the songs for the album All or Nothing, which debuted in Europe in November 1988. According to Pilatus, Farian assured them that given the overwhelming success, there was no turning back. "I'll protect you. No one will find out," he promised, giving them $20,000 as an advance. By December that year, Pilatus and Morvan realized their voices would never be part of Milli Vanilli's music. Imagine for a moment, being in the shoes of these young men. Life has been tough. You're struggling to make it in your artistic career, and suddenly, like a gift from above, a guardian angel offers you success, fame, recognition, money. Everything you've ever dreamed of, right at your fingertips. Who among us wouldn't have accepted that offer? I'm not absolving them of all responsibility. What they did was wrong. But in this game, the only ones who truly paid the price were these 2 naive young men. Mere pawns who signed a contract without considering the consequences. In March 1989, All or Nothing was re-released and remastered in the United States under the title Girl You Know It's True. It became a phenomenon, with 5 singles reaching the top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100. 3 of them, Baby Don't Forget My Number, Blame It on the Rain, and Girl I'm Gonna Miss You, reached number 1. Milli Vanilli took home the Best New Artist Award at the 32nd Annual Grammy Awards, in addition to winning 3 American Music Awards. However, they were not without criticism. Rolling Stone named them the worst act of 1989 and Girl You Know It's True as the worst album of the year. Beth McCarthy Miller, then an executive at MTV, commented that the duo's limited mastery of English during their first interview on the channel raised suspicions about whether they were truly the voices behind their hits. If you're walking down the street and see something that looks and smells bad, you don't need to touch it to know it's not good. With Milli Vanilli, it didn't take much to realize something was off. Fame profoundly affected them. At the Grammy Awards ceremony, when Paul McCartney wanted to offer his congratulations, Pilatus responded with a distant "later," reflecting diva-like attitudes that began to lose touch with reality. In a March 1990 issue of Time magazine, Pilatus was quoted making a bold proclamation. He considered himself the new Elvis. He confidently claimed, "From a musical point of view, we are more talented than Bob Dylan. Musically, we surpass Paul McCartney. As for Mick Jagger, his performances lack precision. He doesn't understand how to produce the right sound. I represent modern rock and roll. I am the new Elvis." However, in 2017, Fab Morvan offered a different perspective, denying that Pilatus had ever made those exact statements. Morvan suggested that the statements were taken out of context, a confusion likely exacerbated by Pilatus's limited command of English at the time. In contrast to its international launch, the US edition of the album All or Nothing explicitly attributed the vocals to Morvan and Pilatus, a move that would ultimately play a key role in the unfolding events. This prompted Charles Shaw in December of 1989 to confess that he was one of the 3 real vocalists behind the album, exposing Pilatus and Morvan as mere frontmen. Rumor has it that Frank Farian offered Shaw $150,000 to retract his statements, an attempt that failed to stem the tide of criticism that was about to unleash. The scandal reached its climax on November 15, 1990, when Farian, under unbearable pressure and following several incidents that fueled suspicions, such as a notorious lip-syncing failure during a performance, admitted to the press that Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan had not sung a note on any of Milli Vanilli's recordings. "My intention was to create a musical hit, and although they, Pilatus and Morvan, had an impressive image, they lacked the necessary vocal talent," he explained at a press conference, marking the beginning of the end for the duo. The public reaction was swift and harsh. Fans felt betrayed, the music industry was shaken by such deceit, and the media quickly amplified the scandal, labeling it the biggest fraud in pop music history. As a result, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences made the unprecedented decision to revoke Milli Vanilli's Grammy for Best New Artist awarded in February 1990, underscoring the importance of authenticity and integrity in the awarding process. Devastated, Pilatus and Morvan faced the controversy head-on. "We're not criminals, we just wanted to make music," Morvan stated, summarizing the duo's sentiment in the face of adversity. The media delved into the story with unprecedented fervor, focusing on every detail of the scandal. Milli Vanilli will be remembered not for their music, but for being the biggest deception in the entertainment industry, remarked one critic. This event not only ended Milli Vanilli's career, but also sparked a broader debate on authenticity in music, lip syncing, and the manufacturing of pop stars, marking a turning point in the industry. When the Milli Vanilli scandal erupted, Fab and Rob became scapegoats, bearing the brunt of the blame that should have been shared by many. The wave of public criticism was directed solely at them, leaving their producer, managers, and record label in the shadows. In a Los Angeles press conference in front of over 100 journalists, Pilatus and Morvan expressed their willingness to return their Grammy Award, describing the last 2 years of their lives as a real nightmare, plagued by the obligation to live a lie. They declared, "We are real singers, but Frank Farian, that maniac, never let us prove it." They admitted to making a deal with the devil and to showcase their vocal talent, sang and rapped for the audience. The controversy intensified when, in December 1990, songwriter David Clayton Thomas sued the duo for plagiarizing the melody of his 1968 song, Spinning Wheel, in their song All or Nothing. In 1991, their attempt at redemption included appearing in a carefree, sugarless gum commercial, referencing the scandal and animated representations of themselves in The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3. Seeking a fresh start, they moved to Los Angeles and signed with Joss Entertainment Group. Their album Rob and Fab, funded by Taj Records in 1992 and released in 1993, suffered from a lack of publicity and poor distribution, selling only 2,000 copies. They appeared on the inaugural episode of VH1's Behind the Music in 1997, and in an effort to revive their careers, Farian produced a new album with them as lead vocalists, Back and in Attack, in 1998. Despite support from some of the original vocalists, the project was overshadowed by Pilatus' personal problems, including addictions and legal issues. On the eve of the promotional tour for the new album, on April 3, 1998, Pilatus was found dead from an apparent overdose of alcohol and prescription drugs in a hotel room in Frankfurt, Germany. His death was ruled accidental. At the beginning of this video, I posed a question. Is the talent in the voice or in the performance? Though I never had the pleasure of attending a Michael Jackson concert, if I had been told I wouldn't hear his voice but would see his legendary dance moves, I'd still be thrilled. Mind you, I'm comparing the King of Pop, an artist who excelled both vocally and in composition, with others who don't measure up. Just to highlight the difference. Imagine this, you're heading to a Bad Bunny concert expecting a spectacular visual show, because if we're talking about his voice without the magic of auto-tune, it's akin to the wail of a pig caught in a fence. Really, you feel the urge to interrupt the concert to shout, "Is nobody going to free this poor animal from its misery?" Stories of musical controversies abound, from Ashlee Simpson's lip-sync reveal on Saturday Night Live in 2004 to Britney Spears, who's often accused of relying on playback in her performances. Even at the Beijing 2008 Olympics, there was a surreal case. The girl who was supposedly singing the Chinese national anthem was lip-syncing. The real voice belonged to another girl deemed not perfect enough in appearance for television by the organizers. Though, to be honest, who's really surprised by such falsehoods in a country with a communist dictatorship, right? Today, a scandal like Milli Vanilli's might not cause such a stir. It seems we've resigned ourselves to accepting certain falsehoods in music, or perhaps we've learned to care less about them. In any case, I'm eager to hear your thoughts. Do you care more about the voice or the show? What do you think of artists who use autotune? Or do you simply not mind and just want to enjoy the music? Subscribe if you want to hear more stories like this, and check out the channel for more interesting videos.